Hi guys. Alright, so this is part 2 of my experience with postpartum depression, psychosis, sleep deprivation. So it's January now, and by this point I started really thinking that people were following me quite a lot, to where I thought actually I saw my brother-in-law's Jeep in front of me, and I called him. I'm like, haha, I know you're following me. And he's like, it's not on the road. It's not even finished. It can't even be driven yet. I remember I thought I saw a police car follow me partway home, when in fact they didn't. This was a very short progression of time, probably just like a weekend, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think it was maybe a Sunday when I actually got admitted into the hospital. And so basically I thought that there was like microphones and that inside the light fixtures of our house. I thought the cats were, there was a good version of the cat and there was a bad version of that cat, and they were being swapped out. I thought my neighbor was secretly going in my house and taking my baby in the middle of the night, so I couldn't sleep. So during this time, I didn't sleep very much as well again. But my panicness was to the point where, like, I was terrified. I was terrified of everything that I saw, to one point where one day I ran. It was like the middle of a really cold snap, so with the wind chill factor and everything, it was like -30 out, and I decided to run outside with no shoes on, no coat, just socks, into the snow and that, and I was petrified to go back into the house. And I remember that because I thought something bad was going to happen to me, and I thought something was going to get me. I don't know if it was myself, that I just knew that there was this fear, this great fear, and because I kept thinking that things were watching over me, so then I remember what happened was my sister-in-law was called to try to talk to me, because my husband was just beyond. He knew something was not right, and she asked me. She said, "Do you think you want to go to the hospital?" And I remember I agreed, and I was like, because I knew something wasn't right. But then in the ambulance ride, it was like I thought everything was fine and normal. So then by the time I got there, I was calmer, and that it was like these waves. It was like waves of panic and awakeness and sleepiness and being kind of almost like an wakeful dream. Because I do remember one time, like I said, it was a short period of time. People were trying to get me to fall asleep, and I remember I woke up and I was yelling, "Pacemaker, pacemaker." This is because my mother, actually, she has a pacemaker, and I must have had a dream, but I woke up thinking, or felt like I was in part of that dream. I wish there was a way to express the sensation of it, but it was just this feeling of like being like you were in a dream reality, like nothing made sense, but yet there was a small little hint of me still there, of knowing something's not right, so thankfully, because this can be quite dangerous, as I've heard of stories of women who have jumped off of buildings, or who have harmed their children because these perceptions that were not real, became so engrossed and everything. So then I went into the hospital and I was admitted, and I don't really remember much for the first little while, because I'm sure they gave me stuff to help me sleep and that. And I do remember I tried to escape by trying to hit the fire alarm, and I was not very good for the first little while. I was in hospital for 3 weeks, but I needed to be there. I remember when I started to finally regain this sense of awareness of I'm not at home and that my baby wasn't with me, I started getting sad that I wasn't at home with my baby. And that was, I think, like the slight turning point of realizing, like, oh my goodness, like, what was going on. And a lot of these memories actually, they've taken time to submerge over the time. And right now we're at 9 months post baby, so I really started to feel a great deal of clarity was after the 6 months. It can take 6 months on average, up to a year even, to fully recover from this, which is quite sad in a way, I guess I feel, but at the same time, I'm happy that I got the help that I needed. It's just, I guess I feel sad because I feel like my hormones robbed me of like this precious time of being off, and that's my own opinion at least of it. But I am doing much better now, and I realize what's real and what's not real. Like I thought I was gonna come when I got home. I was still when I was released, I was still not of the right mind, but I wasn't in that danger period type thing. And I remember I kept thinking that, oh, we're going to come across this large sum of money and we're going to get this magical house. I remember one of my art drawings I did, I somehow thought that my art drawing was going to explain the type of house that I wanted, this vision of this great thing. And it was just, it was, when I think back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But I mean, you got to remember, hormones, your body is controlled by hormones. Like, so, I mean, if it's off, it's off. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing that's your fault. It's not your fault at all. It's just that now I get to embrace and enjoy the time even better now after realizing this. So basically, if you notice someone who's starting to really question things, like if people were real and that maybe they need help, and don't wait, because things can get, oh my god, sorry, there was a really big wasp right that went by me and I'm really petrified of them. Okay, wow. So, if you start to see someone who's had a baby and they start to get very disattached and then become very phobic of everything, and that they really need help and they need help fast, don't wait. And that is basically what I want to try to get at. And so that is my part 2 of my experience. There's so much more I could go into, but really, honestly, the details are just basically things of me thinking that was real, something that happened that never happened, or thinking of something that was going on that wasn't really actually going on. So, I mean, it's pointless for me to really keep explaining, and that. But yeah, so that's basically it, and I hope you enjoy the video. And if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, please seek help, and that is basically what I want to get at. I might make another video of some sort of this kind at a later date. I'm not sure. I mean, as there isn't much out there, at least that I found, for explaining this. It is actually, though, quite common. It can affect between 1 in every 1,000 pregnancies. And if you've experienced it once, you have a 30% chance of experiencing it again. So please, don't take it lightly. Get the help that you need. All right, so that's it for my part 2 of this video, and I hope to see you again on my next video, and hopefully that'll be again of like a meal plan or a point breakdown of foods that I have and that. All right, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed. All right, bye.